Good afternoon. Hope you guys are great. Quick review from last week. Started the game out kind of on our heels defensively. Forced 2 field goals early. Love how we played the second quarter. I thought we rebounded, got us some momentum, got the offensive ball back twice during the 2-minute drive at the end of the half. I thought that was strong as a team, just complimentary football. And then third quarter, fourth quarter, it was a dogfight back and forth. We came away victorious, excited. Game this week here, back second week in a row in Willie B. Excited for that, playing against a team that's going to come in here fired up and ready to roll. Any questions?
I don't know if this is a question. It's more of a statement. But, I mean, they had 2 field goals, 57 yards on those drives. All 3 touchdowns went 66 yards. So I guess the question is, did you know that? Have you ever gone up against something weird like that?
Can you repeat what you just said,
So both
please?
field goal drives went 57 yards.
You mean the drives?
Yeah, the drives
Gotcha.
before they kicked the field goal. All 3 touchdown drives
Yes.
were 66 yards.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I've never even. I hope you're not. You playing numbers and stuff like that. I mean, that'd be a good. That's. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. But anyway, as far as Missouri's run game and what they were able to do, I asked Coach Beamer about it the other night after the game, and he said there was more to it than them just running left, running right. That they were doing some, I guess, funky things. Did you see? Did they show those things on tape? Leading up to the
definitely.
game?
Missouri's. I mean, they run outside stretch. You know, it's more of a. It's not an outside zone. Sometimes you just got to respect it more and treat it like a triple option. It's completely different than what we do, and so truly, no excuse for our guys to some of the things that happen on the tape. But I got to do a better job of preparing them, getting them more used to that before at a full speed rep. I got to do a better job throughout the year, not just that week.
With I think it was after Lenore's threw the interception, what is kind of the message, if there is one, that you tell the defense in that moment? And just what did you see from those guys to bear down and get the stop and the missed field goal?
Yeah, most importantly, I think as anytime we have our first meeting of the year, it's PTBD is put the ball down. And that mindset basically is no matter what, when, where, or who we're playing against, we want to take the field. And obviously in football, the ball can be on the -1, 25, 50, 25 going into 1 yard drive. But our mindset is no matter what, let's put the ball down and let's play. And so we want to live about that. And because there's going to be moments throughout the year where you're put in that kind of situation and you got to have that put the fire out mentality. And our guys starting to believe it. I think that's 2 games in a row. We had a short field and we came back with no points and a field goal. It just basically explains who we are as a football team. So we're excited about that. We get fired up about that more than we do some other things.
I guess from your perspective, you're not necessarily thinking of everything coming to like a beautiful end, but at the same time, I saw some people on Twitter kind of talk about how great it was that Kilgore had the interception at the end after being the one in man coverage with the touchdown, I guess. What did you say to him? I think the SEC Insider video had you kind of go out on the field and like tap his helmet or something.
Really?
I'm just curious like what you thought about that whole situation.
So I'm pretty sure I went up to him after he gave up the touchdown as well. I think that's what you're talking about. But really it's just, being on the field and being on a one-on-one situation like that, and the whole world can see that you were the one who gave up the touchdown. The worst thing you can do is go up to a guy right there and beat him while he's down. So that's not my mentality. So I want to make sure he was good. And I saw his eyes; they weren't bright. They was kind of shiny. So I know what that means. So I want to make sure that he kept his head up. And then our offense did an outstanding job of keeping us alive and gave us one more chance to go out there and finish it. And so obviously it was awesome to see him pick it, and I was happy for him. And that's life as a DB.
Just one on this week, but anything about Wofford stick out schematically or personnel on offense? And then also we heard you ask Shane about a tush push maybe on the headset before one of those fourth down plays. You calling any offensive plays coming up?
I tell you what, these cameras, man, I tell you, but I haven't seen that yet. I probably need to go back and watch it, make sure everything's clean, what's being said. But it was just, the first thing, Wofford, first and foremost, a lot of respect for the game, for myself. The coach has been coaching for 40 years, Coach Watson. You look at his resume, he's coached some big-time players. And this Wofford team will come here and play hard. I coached against Wofford my first 2 years in coaching, so I know what kind of tradition they have. And they have a lot of good skill players that some of the guys the quarterback visited here for a spring practice. The receiver we know just some guys on that team that we definitely respect as players. So we just want to make sure our guys are taking the right process of readiness throughout the week and staying on track and making sure we're good to go and obviously respecting everything about football.
Bam obviously had some pretty big plays the other night, and I think Coach Beamer said on Sunday he was one of y'all's players of the game. Does he maybe get kind of overlooked with Demetrius obviously playing as well as he has and Debo having his track record? Does Bam maybe get overlooked a little bit on the outside or?
Well, on the outside, absolutely he does for sure. On inside the building, he's one of our top athletes. He can do, he can do multiple things for us to the ball and away from the ball, on the line and off the line. Definitely an overlooked football player, but his people are starting to see that he's a good player. He'll pop every now and again as far as making splash plays. But his whole thing is he wants to be a consistent guy, and we just love how versatile he is and how he plays 3 positions for us, sometimes 4. He's a really good player.
You got to go through all the.
There you go.
Sorry, you got to go through all the senior week stuff this week. There's a lot of seniors, especially in your group. When you're going through that, do you ever kind of think to yourself like, "Crap, I got to replace these guys in a couple months"?
Yes, but at the same time, I got to live in the moment. It's not about what I have to do after the fact, because I can promise you they're not worried about it. So it's not their job to. So, but as a football coach, every year is different. But this is where we are. But my ultimate job is to make sure that those guys are well respected, and I let them know how much I appreciate them.
I know you get asked about Kyle a lot, but just big picture, general perspective, what has it been like for you to coach him since he came here in January?
A couple of things I remember about Kyle is just the very first time that me, Trey Robb, Sterling Luke, and T. Gray showed up at his house, him and his dad. All 4 of us walked in there, and we had a statement that we wanted. He's the kind of player that we wanted, and a lot of reasons why. And it's just awesome to see him obviously going towards the end here and how the season that he's had is. I wish every story can be written that way, but I think the main thing that Kyle brought to us and it's just starting to show is just his leadership and how great of a person he is. Obviously, he's only here for less than a year. So, but we feel like we know him very well. And I think that's the part that he's rubbed off on our team in regards of how to be a professional every single day, how to come to work. Every day is not going to be a great day. It's not. But he did a great job of putting his foot down and working and improving. Him and Coach Lucas trying to get better every single day. I think that's going to be the bigger impression that he leaves on our younger players.
With Debo being a transfer guy, but obviously much different circumstances when y'all were recruiting him. So what do you remember about that process? I would imagine it was probably very different than anything.
You mean with Debo?
Yeah, Debo.
So when I got here, Debo was already here, but he was one of the first players that I met. Very aggressive, he walked right up to me and told me who he was, and I thought he's been here for 3 years. Because I just got the job, so I didn't really have a chance to really dissect the roster yet. Then it come to find out I think he was a true freshman at the end of his 2nd semester from Delaware. But it's been nothing but love. He's a guy who's improved and gotten better in all aspects of football and life, and he's fun to be around. We to the point now we can talk about anything. So you can only imagine what those conversations are like. But that's where we are, and it's awesome. It's a lifelong thing.
Sorry, just to quickly piggyback off Jordan's question, Shane admitted yesterday that he's finding himself getting very emotional this week just thinking about everybody leaving. He said he cries at movies. Don't know if you do, but I am curious if you find yourself also having the same kind of emotional moments thinking about all the people who, I guess, are out of eligibility.
Coach Beam was a very confident guy to talk about crying over movies, so I'm not going to go there as far as the movies, but but far as everybody's built different, Lulu, in regards of just how they handle things. I'm going to be emotional in my way. It will be no tears for sure. That's just how I am. So, but that don't mean the care factor is there, the love is there. Those guys know anytime after football, after life, if they need anything, I'm pretty sure they feel great that they can call me if they need any type of anything. So, but I'll definitely be emotional, but it'll be a different kind of emotion. Everybody expressed theirs different. That's just how I express mine. I just want to make sure that it's a lifelong friendship and whatever relationship that we have the rest of our lives. Good question.
and now bring you back down to earth. There was a story last week that representatives or Dylan himself, negotiations are already started on his new NIL deal. As his coach, or for any of the players, with this part of the football world now here and present, do you find that distracting for the players or for the coaches? How do you kind of deal with that side of it? Because you know it's here and you know it has to be dealt with.
I think everybody's aware of college football now, and every team in America is dealing with some type of locker room, in-house situations, issues, and we deal with those things the same way we would deal with someone who got in trouble or whatever. But we don't run from them. We address them and make sure everybody's clear on the same page. And I think that's the most important thing. Thank you, guys. See y'all.